What's going on, guys? This is Paladin CC here, back with another video, and in this video I'm gonna be showing you guys a basic Warlock deck. Now this deck is absolutely freaking brilliant because a Warlock deck is essentially a deck basically for card draws and more card draws for getting more and more minions on the board to gain more and more board control. And you could play aggressive, you could play control with this deck, you could do stuff with this deck. So without any further ado, let's get into this deck. Gul'dan as our hero. Now, the cards which I'm gonna be showing you are just those which you can unlock by just leveling up your Warlock hero to level 10. You could get easily all these cards, and these cards are fantastic. So, the first card is Mortar Coil. What this does is deal 1 damage to a minion. If that kills it, draw a card, which is quite decent for a 1 mana spell. I mean, you have to spend 2 mana, you have to deal 2 damage to your hero and then gain a card. So that's not that good, but if you have an enemy creature or an enemy minion which has just got 1 health left, you could just put up a Mortar Coil and deal that, just finish off that minion, obviously, first off, and then you can also gain 1 card, which is quite decent. So, deal up these Mortar Coils. Another thing is Soul Fire. This guy. Deal 4 damage, discard a random card. Now, essentially, this card is quite decent, but it could lead to some problems when you've got a decent card in your hand from the start of the game and you have kept it till the end of the game to just play it, some card which is unbelievable for a demon. You could be some, I don't know, White Collar or something like that, or Mal'Ganis or something like that, I don't know, but that's pretty decent of a card for you to keep until you've got 8 or 9 mana to be spending. But if you have 0 cards in your hand, you've got absolutely no card, this card just is mind-blowing. For just 1 mana cost, you could deal 4 damage essentially to anybody, not specifically to the enemy hero, not specifically to a minion, not to a random minion, to anything. So this card is pretty decent. Another thing is Shadow Bolt. Let's see, Shadow Bolt. Okay, there we go. Deal 4 damage to a minion. Now, unless and until you've got like some cards, you should not play this card. If you've got no cards in your hand, you should absolutely not play this card. If you've got no cards in your hand, I mean apart from this card, obviously, if you've got no cards in your hand and you've got this card and the Soulfire, you should probably play this card, because Soulfire can be played after you've gotten rid of this card. Whatever, you could make your own strategy, but you got Shadow. Now the thing is Hellfire, and this card is quite decent because it deals 3 damage to all characters. Now this can sometimes lead to you losing the board control. I mean, if it's the only thing you need to get rid of a minion, of an enemy minion which is gonna be killing your hero next turn, you can do that. But this guy is quite decent in aspects if you have got no minions on the board and you're gonna be playing, you've got like 10 mana to spend, and 4 mana you play Hellfire, deal 3 damage to all the enemy minions and the enemy hero and your hero also, but 3 damage is decent, not that great a damage. But then you could probably play with 6 mana, some minions. So this card is pretty decent to play and it's pretty fun. So you got Hellfire too, And finally, you obviously need a bulky creature in decks like these, which is Dread Infernal. Its battle cry sometimes leads to you losing board control, because if you've got some minions which are damaged and have just one damage, one health left, you essentially just knock those guys off. But um, I suggest you shouldn't play this card if you've got um, some minion who's got like 7 or 8 attack and just one health left. You shouldn't play that card because you can lose board control, and that's happened to me a lot of the times. I've played with this deck like I've played like 10 games and I won 6 of them. So 4 is quite a big amount of losses in 10 games. So yeah, you need to keep that in mind, and you can play this card. Okay, so now we come up to some neutral cards, and I'm gonna be starting this thing with some bulky cards, some bulky freaking beast of cards, and obviously Stormwind Champion has been the number one card for all basic decks because it's a neutral card. Obviously, you could use it in every basic deck, and it just applies. Your other minions have +1/+1. This is not a battle cry. I mean, this can affect to any minions if you've got on board or are gonna come on the board the next turn. This is not a battle cry. You are not supposed to have any minions, and I mean, yeah, this guy is just awesome. So that. The thing is, this guy obviously, this guy, I mean, essentially, this guy is just a basic card, 6 mana cost, 6 attack, 7 health. I mean, this card is not that great actually. I mean, this card is not a winner in its own, but this card, because of this card, many of the players have um, just given up, considering this card is bulky, and it's pretty bad to deal with this card when you have already got Dread Infernal or Stormwind Champion on your field, because this card with the Stormwind Champion on your field is like 6 mana cost and 7 attack and 8 health, which is bulky, and opponents cannot deal with that much of bulk. So one copy, obviously not that great that I'll be putting up loads and loads of copies, but yeah, one copy, why not? Yep. The next card is gonna be Acidic Swamp Ooze. This card sometimes is a game winner. You should not look at the 2 mana cost and just judge it that that's not a great card. This is a decent card. So yep, that. Now, this deck has to have more and more minions because we've got 2 copies of Stormwind Champion and we need more and more minions to gain that +1/+1 advantage. So that's gotta be having it. So we're gonna be putting up a tad bit of Warlock. So first off is the main guy, the Tide Hunter. Battlecry, summon a 1/1 Warlock Scout. Now if you've already got this guy, Stormwind Champion, this 2 mana creature consists of a 3/2 creature and 2/2 another creature, so which is crazy good. So that Tide Hunter, yep, pretty decent I guess. Another thing is we need some stable cards. Now what I mean with stable cards is some status cards like Taunt, Stealth, Charge, or something like that to just gain the board control. I mean, yeah, why not? So the main man, Shield Master, basically a brilliant card. I mean, if this wasn't for a basic deck, I would obviously have gone with another Taunt minion, which is gotta be this guy for a 5 mana cost. 3 damage and 5 health, but this is a basic deck, so we need to go with this guy. The Shield Master. I mean, that guy is pretty decent. So is this guy, Frost Wolf Warlock. Now, just looking at it without even reading the Belgrade, this card is total utter garbage for a 5 mana cost card, because this card is not that great in health nor in attack. If at all this card was like 5 mana cost and probably 3 attack and 5 health, that would be decent because of the battle cry also. But 4/4 is, yep, decent, not that great. But if you've got no minions on the board, this card is utter garbage to play, because I mean, till you've gone to getting 5 mana cards, it's pretty bad. So yep. But still, I mean, if you've got many minions on the board, you could play this card. So one of that. Next up is gotta be obviously you should have this guy in your deck, in every basic deck, because it's a neutral card and this card has a battle cry. Draw a card. This card is no mission vendor, obviously is not that great in itself, because you've got a 4 mana cost card with just 2 attack and 4 health. 4 health is decent, kind of, but 2 attack is pretty bad. But because of its battle cry, I'm gonna be keeping him, just one of them. Why not? Next up is another +1/+1 creature, Shattered Sun Cleric. Battle cry, give a friendly minion +1/+1, 3 mana cost, 3 attack, 2 health. This card was also featured in my mage deck, a basic mage deck, and shall be featured in probably every basic deck of mine, because this card essentially is a 3 mana cost card, but it could just boost up another card. So yeah, that. And we're gonna be needing more and more bulky creatures, and for that I'll probably have to search for a creature actually to, yep, let's see. We've got, okay, there is Sylvan Yeti, obviously another one of those mage type creatures or beast type creatures. I mean, it's a neutral card and it could fit in any of the deck. So 2 copies of that, and probably we're gonna be needing this guy, Dragonling Mechanic. Now this card in itself, obviously same as No Mission Inventor, 4 mana cost, 2/4 is not that great, but it summons a 2/1 mechanical dragonling, which is in itself a mechanical creature or a mech, and which could have benefits on Frost Warlock, which could have benefits on Stormwind Champion. I mean, which could have benefits from Stormwind Champion, or else also benefit from Shattered Sun Cleric and stuff like that. So 2 copies of that, and we're gonna be needing more of 2 or 3 mana creatures. So Raid Leader, your other minions have +1 attack. This is not a battle cry, which is pretty decent, because minions which are summoned after the summoning of this guy also have a +1 attack, which is just great. So 2 copies of Raid Leader, and finally my favorite, Razorfen Hunter, because 3 mana cost, 2/3, and summons a 1/1 boar. Summoning creatures are pretty decent in this deck because we have got loads and loads of advantages and stuff like that. So lastly, that's it. You guys have got the deck. This is a pretty decent deck, and I mean, it's not that bad of a deck. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, and you could actually have some suggestions in the comments below, so that I'd probably update this deck according to those suggestions. And yeah, thanks guys for watching. I guess that's it, and I'll see you next.